No man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any other. Let not him who is houseless pull down the house of another, but let him work diligently and build one for himself, thus by example assuring that his own shall be safe from violence when built. If once you forfeit the confidence of your fellow citizens, you can never regain their respect and esteem.
You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today.
Important principles may and must be inflexible. I never had a policy, I have just tried to do my very best each and every day. Everybody likes a compliment. A woman is the only thing I am afraid of that I know will not hurt me. Never regret what you don't write. There is no grievance that is a fit object of redress by mob law. Public sentiment is everything. With public sentiment, nothing can fail. Without it, nothing can succeed. The things I want to know are in books. My best friend is the man who'll get me a book I ain't read. Let's have faith that right makes might, and in that faith let us, to the end, dare to do our duty as we understand it. Whenever I hear anyone arguing for slavery, I feel a strong impulse to see it tried on him personally. With the fearful strain that is on me night and day, if I did not laugh I should die. Never stir up litigation. A worse man can scarcely be found than one who does this. A man watches his pear tree day after day, impatient for the ripening of the fruit. Let him attempt to force the process, then he may spoil both fruit and tree. But let him patiently wait, and the ripe pear at length falls into his lap. If we could first know where we are, and whither we are tending, we could then better judge what to do, and how to do it. There is another old poet whose name I do not now remember who said, "Truth is the daughter of time." I have talked with great men, and I do not see how they differ from others. Standing as I do, with my hand upon this staff, and under the folds of the American flag, I ask you to stand by me so long as I stand by it. Concede that the new government of Louisiana is only to what it should be, as the egg is to the fowl. We shall sooner have the fowl by hatching the egg than by smashing it. All the armies of Europe, Asia, and Africa combined, with all the treasure of the earth, our own excepted, in their military chest, with a Bonaparte for a commander, could not by force take a drink from the Ohio, or make a track on the Blue Ridge, in a trial of 1,000 years. I am rather inclined to silence.
No policy that does not rest upon some philosophical public opinion can be permanently maintained. With malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right, as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds. Ballots are the I hope to stand firm enough to not go backward, and yet not go forward fast enough to wreck the country's cause. It was that which gave promise that in due time the weights should be lifted from the shoulders of all men, and that all should have an equal chance. This is the sentiment embodied in that Declaration of Independence. Extemporaneous speaking should be practiced and cultivated. It is the lawyer's avenue to the public. However able and faithful he may be in other respects, people are slow to bring him business if he cannot make a speech. As our case is new, we must think and act anew. If you think you can slander a woman into loving you, or a man into voting for you, try it till you are satisfied. For 47 years ago our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Every one desires to live long, but no one would be old. I learned a great many years ago that in a fight between husband and wife, a third party should never get between the woman's skillet and the man's axe helve. When I am getting ready to reason with a man, I spend 1/3 of my time thinking about myself and what I am going to say, and 2/3 about him and what he is going to say.
The time comes upon every public man when it is best for him to keep his lips closed. I was born and have ever remained in the most humble walks of life. Books serve to show a man that those original thoughts of his aren't very new at all. Don't interfere with anything in the Constitution. That must be maintained, for it is the only safeguard of our liberties. In great contests each party claims to act in accordance with the will of God. Both may be, and one must be wrong. The people know their rights, and they are never slow to assert and maintain them when they are invaded. The people know their rights, and they are never slow to assert and maintain them when they are invaded. It is a great piece of folly to attempt to make anything out of my early life. The way for a young man to rise is to improve himself in every way he can, never suspecting that anybody wishes to hinder him. I pass my life in preventing the storm from blowing down the tent, and I drive in the pegs as fast as they are pulled up. I believe it is universally understood and acknowledged that all men will ever act correctly unless they have a motive to do otherwise. I have great respect for the semicolon, it is a mighty handy little fellow. If there is anything that a man can do well, I say let him do it. Give him a chance. I believe this government cannot endure permanently, a half slave and half free.